Haffaday. It is Wednesday morning here in Texas. It is just after 11:30, and we are going to do some cooking. But hopefully everyone's having a wonderful start to their day. But just a quick, if you guys didn't hear about the news yesterday, there was an 8.8 on the earthquake that took place in Russia that ended up sending tsunami warnings for Japan, Guam, and along the west coast. And thankfully, from what I've seen with our son that's in Okinawa and even our family that's in Guam, the warnings really were about just to stay away from the beach, stay out of the water. So thankfully, despite us that was 8.8, that was pretty rough. But thankfully, like I said, our family is safe. But if you're just now joining, bear with me a moment. I'm still trying to get things set up. Alright, so we need our flour. Baking powder. Actually, no baking powder. The brown sugar. We got the salt. I got the Crisco. And let's see what else. There's something else that I want to add to it. Nope, not that. Okay. But like I said, normally I will have all my ingredients ready to go, but this morning I am running a little behind on trying to get my ingredients ready. But good morning, how are you guys? Some places it may be evening already, so. But the first thing we're going to do is get our dough ready. So for those of you guys, again, that are just now joining, wondering what's going on, we are going to be baking today. It is called Pastit. And Pastit basically... it's a Chamorro dessert from Guam, and it's a baked turnover. And typically the flavor that you'll find for the filling is pumpkin. That seems to be at least I remember growing up, pumpkin was the main flavor that you would find for Pastit. And that's when it's baked. But for a turnover, it can also be fried. The dough would have to be slightly made differently, and the name of it is called buchi buchi. But those are the two ways that you'll see turnovers are made in Guam. It's either baked or fried. So today I am not going to do the pumpkin flavor. I am actually going to try... for the first time, I'm actually going to try doing a strawberry flavor pie filling. And another one that I was doing other than pumpkin was I was doing caramel apple. Um, but like I said, the first thing we're going to do is make the dough. We're going to pop it in the fridge. And while that's sitting in the fridge, then we're going to prep the filling and go from there. This is something when it comes to baking, um, it's not quick because there's a lot of prepping. There's a lot of, waiting that you're going to have to do, stuff to cool down, stuff to make sure it sits long enough before you can start working with it. But I am just working with regular all-purpose flour. And I am actually cutting the recipe that my sister sent me for the pastit that I've been using even when we were on our food truck. I'm cutting it in half because I don't want to be making as much when it comes to this. So we are going to do 2 cups of flour and so like I said, I'm using just regular flour, but it's the unbleached. But if you are popping in, if you're new to my channel, don't be shy, say hi, and let me know where you're watching from. Alright, so that was 2 cups of flour. Then we are going to do half a cup of sugar. Actually, it's more like a 1/4 cup. And we add a little bit of salt. Which is half a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just going to give this a quick mix to make sure that all the dry ingredients are incorporated. Like I said, this recipe, good morning. Hey, Corey. Good morning. I believe that's Nato. That's all. Hey, there he is. Good morning, Tornado. I am looking forward to our live stream next week. I already have a couple of ideas on what I'm going to craft on that day. But how's it going, guys? I'm trying to see if I had any more gloves left. Looks like I'll have to get my hands dirty today. So I just did the dry. We're working on the dough right now. I just did the dry, and we are getting ready to add Crisco shortening. I like to do the butter flavor because that, to me, just, when you're dealing with the pastry, who doesn't like having the butter flavor? Oh, this time we are only going to work with 3/4 cup of Crisco. And this right here is the 3/4 cup line. But basically what you want to do when you are getting ready to make the dough for pastit is you don't want to just dump the whole thing in there. You don't want it to be soft. What you're going to do is we are going to just put clumps of it in there. And that's how you know you've got the, because I've been using this, I wasn't sure if this was the regular Crisco or the butter flavor one. Because I know my sister, when she makes it, the first time she tried it, when I used the butter flavor Crisco, I told her what I used, and she said she normally doesn't use, she uses the regular flavor. But like I told her, I was like, I just prefer that buttery flavor to the crust. But like I said, you don't want to just dump it in there. You don't want to melt it. There's a reason why you're going to see here in a minute, once I'm done putting these clumps of Crisco shortening. Yeah, if you're going to try this, you definitely want to give yourself time when you're making this. Huh? Barely. Well, at least I can barely hear it. I don't know if you guys, my hubby is working in the garage. If you guys can hear him sanding in there. I don't know if you guys were picking that up or not. Almost there to the line. Babe, can you do me a big favor?
Nope.
Because I thought I still had gloves down here. I thought so, but I didn't see it. But I know there's some upstairs in the loft. Because I would prefer to not to stick my hands in the dough. But again, if you're just now popping in, so far I've gotten 2 cups of flour. I got 2 cups of flour, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I just put in 3/4 cups worth of Crisco shortening. And what I'm going to do once my hubby brings me my glove, I'm going to basically start combining, mixing in the shortening and the dry mixture in there. And I'm just going to continue incorporating, smashing the shortening into the flour to where it becomes crumbly. And then from there, I'm going to be adding cold water to the mix. And the reason why you want to make sure you're using cold water is because you don't want this to melt. Because as you're working the dough, you know, your hand is warm, and you don't want anything to melt. Did you find it? It was in the bag on the desk. Oh,
Right there.
sorry.
Sure.
Sorry, thank you. Sometimes I need a little extra pair of eyes to find what I'm looking for. Alright. Let's get to mixing. Like I said, you want to You're basically just smashing the the Crisco shortening into the flour. You're combining them, and you want to keep moving that around. Get the flour mix in there. I I think someone may have asked once before about why don't you just use butter with something like this. Is because again, when you're making the dough, you don't want, this is definitely a hand workout. Trying to smash, but I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's already starting to look crumbly as you mix the Crisco. Whew. I still can feel clumps of the Crisco, so I'm just trying to make sure that I get those incorporated into the flour. And I tell you, like I said, this is definitely a workout. All right. So again, if you're just now popping in, we are working on the dough portion of today's cooking of Pastit, which is a baked turnover. And I don't know if you guys can see that or not and how crumbly it looks. Once I incorporated the flour mixture and the Crisco shortening. Again, like I said, I can still feel the clumps of shortening, but that's okay if it's not 100% mixed in there, because on the next step, with the next step, we are going to be adding cold water to this, and with that cold water, we are going to add about 14, well, about 7 to 8 tablespoons of cold water to this. And we're going to continue to mix this until everything is going to be nice and incorporated. I don't know if that should be enough. I just got water from our fridge, which usually comes out cold. This is 2 tablespoons right here, and I'm going to go ahead and put all right. So you don't want to just dump the cold water into the mix. You want to put it in a few tablespoons at a time. And you're going to slowly and start to combine everything. And again, the reason why you want to make sure you're using cold water is because you don't want to melt or liquefy um, the shortening. Add just a little bit more. I'm just going to add a little bit more. Because you don't want your dough to be dry. You don't want it to be falling apart as you're trying to add the filling to it. All right, I'm just going to add just a smidge, just a tiny smidge. Uh-oh. My phone's trying to come out of the stand. All right. I think that should be good. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop this into the fridge. And then from there, we are going to get started on the filling. So the thing about the filling is normally, excuse me. Like I said, normally with the filling, you are working with pumpkin. But with today, I am going to do the strawberry filling, and I am working with the caramel apple. first one we're going to try and work with is the strawberry. I was a little bit leery about trying to do something different because, again, while you're working with the dough, you don't want something that's going to be too runny. And that's all I'm concerned about. So what I basically do what I basically do is, I forgot to put on my apron. Your hands are numb. Hubby is out there sanding down, and it's difficult to do stuff with your hands when you're dealing with carpal tunnel, and we both are. So you okay?
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's good enough. Is that hot enough for you? Look at that. Yummy. Oh, that smells so good.
Done with the sanding part.
Maybe I should have done cherry instead. What's your favorite pie filling?
I thought you said you were doing cherry.
No, strawberry.
Oh. I thought you said
Strawberry.
cherry would make more sense.
So what I was gonna do, I guess I don't, with this one here, all I'm gonna do is scoop some of it out. Like I said, I've never worked with this pie filling before, and I just hope it comes out all right. You guys are going to be here with me as I experiment with this, so thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Even if you're not chatting, that's okay. All right. I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar just to up the flavor. Not a lot because I'm not using a lot of the filling at the moment. Like I said, I didn't make a lot of the dough, and I'm just throwing in a pinch of nutmeg. And then we're just going to mix that up. I'm glad to see that the mixture itself, you know, it's pretty thick, but as you're baking, that's the thing, is that it's going to loosen it. It's going to liquefy this gel and it's not going to be like a regular pie, so it's not going to be sitting in a dish. If you guys are familiar with empanada, it's the same shape. It is the same shape. I just want to make sure that that brown sugar and the nutmeg gets well incorporated in there. Let's try that. That is good. That is really good. All right, so I'm just also going to pop this in the fridge because I don't want the, like I said, the gel portion of the filling to loosen up. So we're going to keep the thickness. Now with the next one, I've worked with this before. So with this one here, the reason why I have the cutting board is because the apple pieces are in big chunks. Now normally if you were making a regular pie, that's fine. But we're not making regular pie. Trying to make sure I get more of that gel like the strawberry pie filling. Alright, so with this, same thing. I'm sorry, with this one here, it's not brown sugar that I would add. But I added just a little bit of cinnamon. This one here is almost empty. Okay, there we go. It's gonna get messy. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to be dicing this up because I need the apple pieces to be smaller. Because the times where I left it too chunky, as I'm forming the turnover or the pastit, you can see that it becomes lumpy. And by chopping up the apple, especially since it's been sitting in that mix, it just kind of brings out a little bit more of the apple juice, I guess you can say, as I chop it up. Just trying to make sure there's no big chunks, no big chunks. Let's just make sure that brown sugar and this, I'm sorry, the cinnamon is mixed up in there. Guess I didn't need this big bowl. This is good enough. And I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to pop this into the fridge to keep the filling cold and to make sure that it doesn't, you know, liquefy on me. Oh, that's good. That's why for me, I don't get just regular apple pie filling. For me, I have to make sure that it says it's the caramel apple pie. Yummy. All right, let's put this in the fridge. Let's clear this up a little bit so we can move on to the next step. I'm going to have to make sure I cover up. So I can save these pie fillings. So the pie filling hasn't been sitting in the fridge long enough. So what I'm going to do is so for those of you guys that are familiar with empanada, you guys should know what this is. But what I'm going to do is, and I'm probably going to move over here to the counter or over there because I don't want to be working on the stove top. But normally I'll prep the sheets, but this doesn't look like it's going to be enough. So I'm going to get some wax paper. And basically and this was what I would show my daughters whenever they're needing to use this and they want to create the squares. Just to eyeball it really, is almost do it to the size of the press. And one sheet basically can make 4 squares. All right, let's do one more sheet. And then basically all I do from there is I fold it in half. Normally I do it all together. Looks like this one might be it's okay if they're not perfect. Because sometimes I'll cut a square and it's too small. But that's okay. Alright, so then we just cut it in half. And then I fold it in half again. Come on. And there you go. Now you got more squares. Alright, so like I said, we're going to move this over because I want to work more on a flat surface. Now I like to use a scale, and the reason why I use the scale is because, uh-oh, battery's dead on it. Uh-oh. Babe, would you break my scale?
No. Okay. Whose scale is it?
This one.
I can't see it. I've never used that.
You never use this one?
Never known.
There we go. Alright. And I usually just set it for grams on this one here. But the reason why I like to use the scale... Huh? Oh. Is because that way they're more uniform. But let's go grab wax paper airplanes. I've never heard of wax paper airplanes.
See how that looks? See how that looks?
It's gonna lighten as it dries.
Pretty dry, dark.
How many coats did you do? Just one, right?
Just one.
Did you open the garage door? Yeah, hurry, don't leave it open too long. Alright. So all I do is I take a piece. That's about the size that I want it. For me, in doing this, like I said, I have it set to grams, and I did it anywhere from 65 to 72, and it really just depends on the size that you want your pastit to be, or your turnovers.
I feel like it doesn't help that it's a cool
Hmm?
So I feel like it doesn't help that it's a cool time, not a warm time.
Oh.
No, we're gonna make another one.
Alright, and then we put one plate down, the other, and we smash. But it's not done yet. Now, when you're making this, at least for the turnovers and even for the empanadas, you try not to make it too thick, because the thicker the shell, that means the longer it has to fry, and then you take that chance of the inner lining of the shell might not be 100% cooked. But you also don't want to make it too thin, because then as you're filling it, the shell could break. So honestly, I don't even know what that size would be, but you know, after doing it so long, you're just eyeballing it. But then you take the sheet off, lay that one down for the next one, and then you put this aside. And then you repeat. I might actually make them smaller, because I want to make sure I'm going to have enough dough. So I'm probably going to drop it down. These are going to be like mini versions, I guess, to about 55, 56 grams.
Has grandma talked to you recently?
Which grandma?
Grandma?
It's been a few days.
Cause she just called me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did she see you online? Because sometimes she'll do that. If she sees you online, she'll call.
No.
Yeah.
I don't have Facebook.
It's probably she hasn't heard from you in a while, too.
No, she was asking me if I wanted to go to Washington.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She did say that.
Okay. Well,
That's right.
for the whole month of December, I don't know about that. And she wants to fly. I don't want to fly. We're graduating.
So that's still a decent size. I reduced the weight, but it still made a decent size. So this one I might even have to press one more time. But that's still a good size right there at 55 grams. Too much. Too little. Okay. But the reason why I turn it when I'm pressing it is because I just want to make sure that the press is going to be even on the shell, because you don't want to be working where one side is going to be thicker than the other. Alright, let's see if I can eyeball this. That might be, let's see, 54. Huh, oh, nope. 54. 55, perfect. Put it in the center. I smash it just a little bit. I grab another sheet.
Do you need the fan angle that you want?
Hmm?
Do you need the fan angle that you want?
Oh, it's fine. I can still feel it. Press. Turn. Press. Turn. All right, let's see. What do you think that's going to be? Think that's 50? 54? 55? I think that might be 50. Let's see. Oh, that one was perfect. It was 54. It's perfect if it hits 54, 55. When's the last time I made pastit?
Long time.
It's been a minute for sure.
Hasn't it been since the truck?
No, we made it for one of the family gatherings. It might have been the year that we stopped the food truck.
Yeah, that tracks.
Let's see if I can do that again. Let's see if I can eyeball that. That might be 50. Whoa, I was real off on that one. That was like 62. Alright, I need to turn the oven on. It's harder to pull the sheets apart when you're wearing gloves. And usually when you're making this with family, friends, it can be an assembly line. You have one person measuring out the dough. You've got one person taking care of the sheets, making sure there's enough or passing it along. You can have one person doing the press. If you have more than one press, then you can have more than one person doing it. And then as the shells are prepped, then you can have one person starting to fill them. Well, right now it's just me, so. Alright, this might be 48. Boy! Wow, really? No way. 57? Just a pinch off of that. Okay. When you are forming the shell, you want to make sure, and I don't know if you guys can see how it's starting to glisten, because now that it's out of the fridge, it's dealing with the warmth of my hand. What's close? Huh? Oh. You want to, and you'll see it as you're making the dough, as it's being exposed. See, like right there, I have a crack in it. So this might have been too thin. So that one I already know is going to have an issue with the filling seeping out a little bit. But that's okay. That happens. But again, that's also the other reason why you don't want to make the shell too thin. You don't want to make it too dry, because then you're going to deal with the cracks. All right, that one I think is good. All right, let's see, 52. Ooh, I was almost perfect. That one was 51. The dough that's still sitting in the bowl as it's waiting to be pressed, you want to kind of like knead it just once or twice, a couple of times, because you want to make sure, because it's being exposed. So as it's sitting there, it can be starting to dry out. Come on. And by, kneading it a few times before you press it, it almost like activates the the shortening that's in there, so it's not as dry. One more time. I've got the oven on and I don't want the dough, because the pressed dough to be just sitting on top of the oven. Too light. That'll work. All right, let's see. All right. like I said, just press it a couple of times to reactivate it. Press. It's a good arm workout. Can you imagine making a few dozen of this? Especially if you're doing it by yourself. And it definitely is a workout because you're kneading the dough and then you're doing the press. One more. All right, this is the last one. I know that when I've made this in the past, even when I measure it, I'll end up with, I'll end up making mini versions of either the Pastit or the empanada. And it'll be so cute. I mean, when they come out that, I mean, it came out that tiny. So you're talking about a taste tester. I think I did that once on purpose because we were going to give out free samples. All right. So that's done. Yeah. But the dough has to be made differently for the butchie butchie. Yeah. It's made differently. Because you're going to fry it. So you don't want the dough to be like this. It's soft. Babe, can you do me a favor? I need your help, please. I just need you to grab me the big baking pan. You know, the big. It's silver, possibly, and maybe even down at the bottom of the oven. There we go. Yeah, you're gonna definitely have to toughen up your hand. All right, so as we start to fill it, you're going to need a fork. You're also going to need an egg, whisked egg, because that's going to act as, what do you call that? So you can give an egg wash. All right. So now we are going to go ahead and start doing the filling. So sometimes, I don't know if I have it or not. We don't have it, do we? We don't have the press. I meant the. Some of you guys might have seen it. It's like empanada. Hey, Colleen. Good afternoon. Thank you for popping in. You're just in time for me to start filling the shells. We are making pastit, which is a baked turnover, and we've got caramel apple, and we've got strawberry. All right, so let me start with the strawberry, only because I don't want it to melt on me too much. But basically, you're just going to put it in the center. Make sure I get some of those strawberries in there. I liked how a lot of the strawberries on this was already small, kind of minced in there. And then you just fold it over. And then you're going to press the ends to kind of like seal it. I added just a little too much. Because when you add too much filling as you're pressing the edges, you guys can see that. It's already seeping out. Which just means, but this was the smallest. But look at that. Look how nice and filled that is. How many times do you bite into an empanada, a turnover, where you're biting into it, and most of the time you're getting just lots of shell or the crust. And depending on the flavor of the crust, that's not too bad, because it'll be yummy. And then you just open it, and then like a pie crust, you're just going to press the edges to give that not necessarily pinched look, but that pie crust look really. And I already know this is going to seep out because there's a crack right there. So I'm just going to poke this once so some of that steam has a chance to escape. And then I just put it down. And that's that. Alright, so now I know not to add too much. Maybe a spoon. That still might be a little too much, because I didn't make my shells too big. Because as you close it, it will shift. It will shift the filling in there to the edges. Oh, okay. So that one was good. Then you open, press the edges, give it a poke. And then we just continue. Hi, Bruce. Good afternoon. So right now I am filling the strawberry portion of my pasta. All right, these are the ones that are just slightly bigger, so I can add just a tad bit more. Like I said, doing the strawberry filling is the first time I'm using it for my pastit. The two flavors that I've typically done would be pumpkin, which is more traditionally found, as a flavor in Guam. And apple, specifically caramel apple. Also, the other thing is too, in Guam, when you're making the pasta with pumpkin, it's not canned pie filling. You actually would take pumpkin, you'd cut it up, cook it, add the seasoning, the flavor, meaning like brown sugar and other spices. So the pie filling is made from scratch. Now I do have it, but I don't know where it is. It could be in a box right now, but I do have the press to where I would put this on top of it, put the filling in the center, and then I would close it to make this step just a little bit quicker. And it even has it'll give this look on the edges. The only thing I would do was still poke the center. All right, so I was able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the strawberry. This one is going to seep. I can already tell when it's going to seep. Yeah, see, it's already seeping. All right.
AC condensers, AC back good on that.
Now let's do the apple. So again, I already knew that this has some cracks in it, so I'm not going to overstuff this one because I know it's going to spill anyways. But this is the caramel apple one that I'm doing. So again, you put it in the center. You don't want to bring it to the edge. You don't want to bring it to the edges. Fold over and then pinch in the center and then just work from the end all the way to the other side. You're sealing it. You're basically just pinching it to seal the filling in. And then I poke. This time I'm going to do 2 pokes on this one. Not like we wouldn't be able to tell the red. I'm sure with the strawberry that I have will seep through. So we'll be able to know which is the strawberry and which is the apple. But the first time I did this specific filling, and when I chopped it up, I realized that I didn't chop it good enough because this part right here wouldn't be smooth. It showed that it was lumpy because of the chunks of apple. And the first time that I made this for my family, you know, and to include my my mom, my siblings, a lot of them said they liked, they preferred the apple. The apple would disappear before the pumpkin. Now I'm not jabbing it all the way through. I'm just giving it a small poke right there. And that basically is just to help the steam escape so it's not breaking through the shell. Because as it's cooking, and then you go through, you do it once, and then you go back again just to make sure you pinch it down even more to get a good seal. Create the edges. And poke, poke. All right, I can do one more. That means I have 1, 2. So that means I'm going to prep a little bit more of the caramel apple. Press, press, press. Poke, poke. All right. So now it's time for the egg wash. I really don't like what's happening right there with this one. How it's already, this is gonna bleed out a lot more once once it starts to bake. When you're doing the egg wash, you want to make sure that you whisk the egg really good. You want to make sure that it's nice and yellow. This part right here, you don't want that to get onto the, you want to make sure that's nice and incorporated. And if there is still a little bit of that clear stringy piece in there, you just want to make sure as you're giving it an egg wash that that's not the part that gets on there, because otherwise you're going to get cooked egg on top of there, and we don't want that. Sometimes I'll end up even just removing that to save me the time and worry. So I got the bulk of it mixed, and there was just a small amount. See, no, let me get that out of there. All right. I'm going to save the one that's already having some of the filling seeping out of there for last. But we just literally give it a wash. Because doing the egg wash is what's going to help give it a nice color to it. What?
Had the mixer wipe. It's hot. Sit in the sun flat. And she's got a good tail light and a good windshield wiper. Now she's new tires.
Yep.
Tires. She's got 4 tires that take pretty much everything.
That
she's
she
got.
made. Yep, that's adulting for you.
Sucks. Hate it
You make all that money just to turn around. Uh-oh. Got some of that clear stuff on there. And the other thing about giving it an egg wash too is it, you know, the salty flavor that you would get from the egg goes well with the sweetness from the filling of the, forgot the last one here. All right, oven opening. Then that goes in there. Cooks for 20 minutes. So I still have 2 more to go. I probably could have fit that in there, but I have, what do you call that? Very little filling left. So I'm trying to debate on whether I should do more apple or strawberry. My daughter says apple. Can you do me a favor and put this away then for me? This one? Huh? Yeah. Alright, so just probably, because since I only have 2 pieces left. I wonder, let me get 1 more. Or 2 more. Yeah, I don't think I can make pie filling from scratch. I mean, there's more steps to it, so I like the cheat ways. All right, let's see. I probably might have to do just a little bit more. Let me see. Oh yeah, I have to do a little bit more because that's right. These are the first 2 pieces that I was making, and I made them bigger, so that means they could take more filling. It's still seeped out just a tiny bit, but that's okay. Poke, poke. I think just a little bit more. And then this one's going to need to go too. Add a little bit of cinnamon. Almost out on this cinnamon. Yeah. might have made too much for this one. Just a little. Think. There you go. Yeah, you can have that. Yep. This one's gonna seep out. Hold on. This one's gonna be too much. Hold on. Have to scoop some of that out of there. There we go. Can you put a little bit, can you clear that out of there? Put a little bit of parchment paper in that one. I'm going to cook the last two in that oven. How is it? Good? So look at that. Look how nice and filled that is. Alright, so what I'm going to end up doing now is I've got a smaller oven and I'm going to cook the last two in that one over there. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. That almost looks black.
Just as dark as that.
Dang, that is pretty dark.
Way darker than the door. Way darker than the front door.
Alright.
Like remove this thing?
Yeah, turn it down.
Okay. I'm back.
Where are you going?
What I just said.
I like using parchment paper when I'm baking anything because it's a lot easier cleanup.
Yes.
Alright. Put this in my smaller oven. Alright, so now it is a wait and a see on what we have. I'm just going to take a quick peek in here. Oh yeah, it's been at least a year, maybe longer, year and a half since I made this. So I mean, I still followed my sister's recipe, but because I cut it in half, that doesn't always mean that everything is cut in half. So it is altering the recipe, and I could see a few of the pieces I already knew was gonna crack as it's baking, and some of the filling, would be, what do you call that? Seeping out of it. Ah, if only you could smell it. If only you could smell it. It is smelling really good right now. All right. So I have the other one cooking in the oven. So in my mini oven. So let's pop a squat while we wait. While we wait for them to finish cooking. Gotta plug that back in. All right. Let's get you guys a little bit lower. I had bought, and I've used it on a live stream before, I've bought my wireless microphone, and it worked really well, except for this is the spare. I don't know where I put the piece that plugs into my phone, and so yeah, I think the last time I used it, was when I had my mom on, and I interviewed her. So it's got to be in my house somewhere. But how's everybody doing? I know I don't have a whole lot of chat going on. But still, I hope everyone has been enjoying what you've been watching so far. But if you just popped in and wondering what's going on, I have turnovers in the oven. I've got 2 flavors that I've made today, with one being caramel apple, and the other one is the first time I've actually tried using it as a filling for pastit, and that's a Chamorro term for it in Guam, and basically it's just a baked turnover. And it's in the shape of an empanada, so if you're familiar with empanadas, at least you'll know what the shape looks like. The color is not going to be the same. But again, I've got less than 10 minutes for the first batch to finish baking, and then we'll get to see, because like I said, it's been a year and a half, possibly maybe even 2 years since the last time I made this. So it's been quite a while, and I've been out of practice. So one of the things I got to remember, if you go back and if you're rewatching this so you can try it for yourself, because trust me, the baked turnover I prefer. There's 2 ways to have the turnover that we prepare them. It's either baked, and that's known as pastit, or it's fried, and that's known as buchi buchi. Although I like the buchi buchi, I like the fried version, but I prefer the baked. The crust, it's very similar to what you would find, I guess, as a pie crust. But I prefer pastit, the baked turnover. And I just have to remember, though, it's a thin line, literally, a thin line when you're pressing the dough before you add the filling, because you got to be careful not to make it too thin, that it'll create cracks, because unless you have an assembly line of people helping you, once you take it out of the fridge for the dough and you start working with it, it's going to already, because it's exposed to the air, it's already going to start to dry out. So unless you have an assembly line of people helping you, one person creating the dough, the ball, one person pressing, and someone else helping to start to fill it and close it up, so that way it can be sitting on the tray. That means it gets done faster. It reduces the chances of your dough drying out, so that way it reduces the chances of your filling seeping out. But it happens no matter how much of a seasoned baker you are or cooker. It happens. because a lot of the times, because you're used to making it, you're just eyeballing it. So sometimes I might put just a little too much filling into it. So as I'm closing it up, as soon as I make it halfway, I'm like, darn it, I overfilled it. I already know that it's going to seep out on one end or the other. Or when you're doing it by yourself, I'll notice the ones that I've done already pressing that it's developing cracks in them as they're sitting waiting to be filled. So that's the only thing. If you are going to try this recipe, I hope someone does, and then you guys let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure to put the recipe in the comments, and you guys can try it for yourself. And like I said, you guys can let me know what you think and what your favorite pie filling is. Because like I said, and I've said it several times already, typically if you find this, you know, if you go to Guam, the biggest flavor you're going to see is pumpkin. But you can fill this with whatever filling flavor you want. So I think we got less than 5 minutes. I mean, 20 minutes is the minimum. Sometimes you might have to bake it, you know, up to 5 minutes more. If you make it, you won't be disappointed. Especially if you use your favorite filling. You won't be disappointed. Just because they're flawed with cracks in them, or you know the filling is starting to, you know, has been seeping out of it, that doesn't mean it's not, you know, it's going to taste any less. It's going to still be yummy to eat. Those are the ones basically you get to keep for yourselves. If you're making this for a party and you want it to look pretty, then those are the ones you get to be your taste testers. To, you know, for yourself or anybody else who's helping, you can split that up. For the non-pretty ones, you can split those up and eat those and save the pretty ones for the party or the gathering. But we got less than 5 minutes to go to find out. And a lot of the times I can't wait. Sometimes as soon as it comes out, and I'll pop it in the fridge just to help cool it down faster so we can try it. Okay, while we wait, I don't know if I did this the last time I cooked. So let's find out. Okay. If I didn't do it the last time, well, I'm definitely going to do it now. Oh, it smells so good. I'm just trying to find my song. Hey, Don. Good afternoon. How are you? Okay, where'd it go? Let's get to cooking. There we go. Wait, try that again. Aw, what happened? Can we get prepared to cook big meals, small meals, and just what will it be? Will we bake it or fry it? Will they want something sweet or something savory? Grab your apron. Grab your apron. Let's get to cooking. It's overheating. Did you find out why it's overheating? Not the thermostat. Replace the fuses and relays, and the fan is working, but not good. So now going to replace. Oh man, Dawn, her car.
She says it's doing what?
She says it's not the thermostat. She says it's not the thermostat. She replaced the fuse and relays, and the fan is working, but not good. So now going to replace the rotator fan. What do you think? Why else would it be overheating if that's... Hubby's a mechanic, so he's trying to think.
How was she sure it's not the thermostat?
Because he just asked, how are you sure that it's not the thermostat? All right. It could be the cooling temperature sensor. She said the rotator fan, radiator. It could be.
Okay.
All right, let's take a look. Like I said, sometimes it can take up to 25 minutes. No, the way it looks, I would say at least another 5 minutes. Oh,
I'm with you. I know what you got.
okay. Oh, he's reading the comments now too. He's contemplating. So, let me see what the one in my mini oven is doing.
Does it start overheating when you're stopped?
Come on, you have to come over here.
Yes, sir.
He wants to know, does it start to overheat when you're stopped? Or does it? It doesn't matter. He says to your husband, I directly connected the radiator fan to the battery and it worked. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
So the two that's cooking, because there's less and it's a smaller oven, the two that are in the smaller oven is probably going to end up being done around the same time as the one that's in the big oven. Because you want to make sure that it has some color to it. Right now, when I looked at it, when the timer went off, and I was looking at the turnovers, they're still fairly white. And you want it to have a little bit of color. So she went on to say, so replace, oh, you see it? Okay.
I guess I'm on Zoe's.
Yes. Did you make a comment?
No.
Oh. He's still thinking. He's trying to see if he can figure anything out. But as I was saying, whenever you're making this, you want to make sure that it has some color to it. So I'm gonna. Are you seeing her next comment?
Yeah.
Okay. I know it doesn't help, when you're baking. It doesn't help when you keep opening the oven. Did you see her next comment? Oh, I wasn't sure, you know. Because every time you open the oven, it lets more heat out. And that's less heat. That's going to be cooking what you're cooking. I don't think I mean, we've been in this house for 8 years now, over 8 years. And the light in the oven isn't working anymore. And we just haven't replaced it yet. What would be a good indicator? About the fan? Oh. Ah. Grab your apron. Count down again. So I let it cook for about 5 more minutes. And hopefully this past 5 minutes was long enough to give it just a little bit. It doesn't have to be browned, but just not white. You want it to have a little bit of color to make sure that the crust, her dad's a mechanic. It's called Pastit. That's how we say it in Chamorro in Guam. But it's a baked turnover. So if you like turnovers, that's what I'm making. And if you're not familiar with what that is, if you're familiar with an empanada, it's shaped the same way. It's just not cooked the same way or the same filling. Because this is a sweet. It's a dessert. Getting hot when stopped, or it doesn't matter. All right, let's take a look again. Oh, wow, that one. Okay, I have to touch the dough to make sure if it's cooking. Definitely has more color. No. Oh, wow. Okay, so now I know, and that's what I was worried about. Huh? No, it's the temperature we're supposed to cook it at, but that's what I was concerned about with the strawberry one. Because what happens with strawberry? When you add sugar to it or as it gets hot, it pretty much starts to melt. And that's what I was concerned about. And right now, all of the strawberry filled ones, it's not done yet. I touched the dough and it's still soft. So I'm cooking it for a little bit longer. And hopefully that'll finish. My mom's upset with me because I don't cook like I used to. Aw, I mean, things change, you know, things happen. And the only reason why I cooked the way I did was because we had the food truck. But I was cooking a lot of our island food, a lot of desserts. On the days that we had the food truck, and especially if we had leftovers, we didn't have to worry about what was for dinner, what was for lunch, because we'd be eating what we'd be cooking. I left the Mustang for the day at Charger so I can make more money to replace the fan. Ah.
I was going to say, which one is cheaper, the fan or the sensor?
All right, let me check the one that's in the mini oven.
Yeah.
Okay, the one even in the smaller oven I guess because it's smaller, more compact compared to the bigger oven, and there's less that's cooking at one time. But the one that's in my mini oven, looks better than the one that's in the big oven.
The only thing that makes me wonder about it is because the because it doesn't matter whether it's moving, whether you're driving or not, that it overheats. That would kind of lead me toward that temperature sensor.
Well, she mentioned the sensor.
I know, but I was asking her which one was cheaper.
Oh.
She said it's cheaper, but it's harder to get to. I mean, that would be my thought, because when you're even if the fan's not working right, when you're driving down the road, airflow is still getting through. And if the temperature sensor is not telling it to, cool the engine, then the air is only going to do so much, especially when it's 100 degrees outside.
She just said, me too, I'm hoping not, because the stupid thing is in the block.
Oof. Yeah.
I mean, he just took apart our Acura, because he finally the other day when I was out working by myself, because I had an appointment and he stayed home, he started working on our Acura, because the steering module or whatever it is went out on us, and it locked the steering wheel, and also gave him a chance to take a look at why our AC in the Acura also went out. But yeah, the part for the steering wheel is not cheap, and after that happened to us, and he was looking it up, and the accidents that have taken place because of the steering wheel piece, locks up on you. It has happened on people when they're still on the road, when they're still in the middle of driving. So that's the scary thing. Thankfully for me, it happened when I was trying to leave the house. I had worked that morning, came home for lunch, and then I was going to leave again, and I was like, the steering wheel's locked. I was doing all the usual stuff that we need to do to unlock it, turning it off, the whole 9 yards. But it would not budge, not even a little bit. I mean, it was locked. It was frozen at the point that it was. But that's when we found out that, and it's not a cheap part, and he does not, or he's hesitant or leery about even just buying a used part, because we don't know what the life span of a used part would be. And especially after finding out that for the Acura,
500 to 1,000 for that fucking module.
he said, I'm hoping not, because can he remove the locking mechanism? Can you remove?
It doesn't matter. It's not it's a module. It's not a
It's
hydraulic
yeah,
steering.
yeah.
It doesn't have the power steering pump and fluid and all that stuff.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't have the power steering pump or the fluid.
Here, I'll show you what it is.
This is the part. You have to take out the dash or the glove box.
This is what controls the power steering in the newer Acuras. And if it goes out, good fucking luck, because you can't even turn the wheel.
Yeah,
You can turn it, barely.
yeah.
At least in the old systems, if the power steering went out, you could still drive the damn car. Mind you, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but
Okay, that's better.
it's still drivable. With this thing, nope. Well, yeah,
You see?
you're
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the reason, like I said, when I was making the Pastit, this is the reason why I was a little bit questionable on whether to even try doing the strawberry filling, because again, it's not like a pie where it's sitting in a dish and you don't have to worry about it seeping out. But because of the way a turnover is, you have those chances. See, these newer cars are a nightmare to work on. I swear my next car is going to be a 1988.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm going back in time. Hell with all this BS.
But as you can tell, all of this right here, all of that right there is the strawberry, and most of the, I won't say most, there's still a good amount of filling in the shell, but some of the filling has seeped out, and all but one. I don't know why this one stayed. stayed in the shell, but it's only cracking at the top. But this is the apple. These are the apple filling right here. And the two that's in the smaller oven is also the apple. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the strawberry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 also of the apple. So, but there's that. And normally what you would do is you would remove it from this and you would put it on a cooling rack. So it's still not cooking from underneath. You don't want to just keep it on the baking sheet. Oh, that looks good. What? So I'm a little disappointed, but you know, at least I know that on whether to try using strawberry filling again on this, because as you can see, you know, it's seeped out. So whether I would try it again or just make sure I put very little filling in it. So I don't know. I don't know. Hmm?
Stupid house over there. The bottom has fallen apart.
The what?
Goddamn phone.
So only one of the apple is. That would be an idea to keep in mind, is a jam instead of a pie filling. Thank you. But like I said, that's the caramel apple filling. I'm gonna go grab the one that's in the small oven. See, the one in the small oven. And again, that's the reason why I like using parchment paper, because it's quicker, easy cleanup. I mean, the filling that ended up cooking, that seeped out onto the sheet, I mean, it's still very thick on there. But there you go. Oh, there's the Pastit. You got strawberry. Once I removed it from the pan, at least, especially the ones that didn't crack, it doesn't look bad. Like I said, like these two would be the taste testers. These two would be the taste testers. And then the others would be for the party or whatever. Thank you. Have time right now to be cooking. I feel you on that. I mean, especially with the current line of work that we do, and if you're doing it full time, when you're out there 5, 8 hours during during the day, you're not always in the mood to come home and cook. But I need to pop them in the freezer so they can cool down quicker, so we can try it. We gotta try it. I gotta open it up before I. If I could charge at home, that would be different. That's true. Wait. That's right. You've always talked about charging away. You do not have the ability to charge your car at home? Alright, so I'm going to put the one that seeped out and this other, yes, it is hot. The apple one, ooh, that's hot. See, there's the bottom. I'm going to pop these in the freezer for a few minutes, and so that way we can taste them, crack them open and taste them. All right, it's in the freezer. Oh, wow. My other car is a 2006 Fiat. Takes 3 hours to charge, and no, my part. Oh, okay, that's right. Doesn't have a charge station. Okay. So did you say you are, or you aren't out there working because of your car issues? I know it's already 1:30. Huh? But we are going to get out there and work ourselves. Probably not for another hour or so to get out there and work. Because being that it's a Wednesday, for Wednesday, Thursdays to work the lunch hours from 10 to 2, it's a hit and miss. Oh, there's an incentive on Spark for North Austin?
Shopping only for Cedar Park, HEB, or Walmart, $4 per.
Oh, so we actually have an incentive. So maybe we'll get out there in the next hour, because the incentive actually kicks off at 2. For shopping orders for Walmart Spark in our home zone. I just left the Mustang charging right now. Got an hour and a half left. Then I have to do a round, and then Okay. So yeah, we are gonna try. We're actually gonna be heading over to Cedar Park, and work out there today and see how well we do. We did really well. Well, for Sunday, this past Sunday, we actually worked 10 hours on a Sunday, which was very surprising, because I can see working those type of hours on a Friday, Saturday, but not on a Sunday, because things tend to slow down by 6 o'clock and then pretty much be dead after 7. But we were still getting decent offers even by 9 o'clock. So we didn't get home until almost 10 o'clock Sunday night. Wow. Yeah, I don't blame you on that, man. Hey, Indy. I'm deciding if I keep working or go home. I did 2 runs so far and then sat down and got lunch. I feel you on that though, Indy. Well, thank you for listening and just even letting this play. I realize that there's a couple of people that are doing that because I see the numbers, but there's very little chat. So, but I still appreciate that. Just letting this live stream play is helping and supporting my channel. So I still appreciate that. But I feel you on that because even after, even simply waiting like 20 minutes, if we're not getting any decent offers, you know, we're ready to either move to a different spot, to a different zone. I have to make myself keep going. Yep. I have to get my hubby to stay motivated. I was like, no, let's give it another 10 minutes. You know, sometimes we'll even just move around in the parking lot because I won't say it never fails, but a lot of the times, as soon as we start moving, then the apps will start to chime again. So sometimes we'll just be finding different spots in the parking lot, or we go to a different waiting area and see if we can pick up more offers that way. But I did 168K order, so I'm like, do I really want to keep? Wow, that was your pay, Indy? I really need to look into doing the catering orders. I mean, we have the big bags for it, and we have our cart to help lug those things around. So I really need to look, but that's really good. Which app is that? I know one of the catering apps I tried to apply for, which was ridiculous, that they ended up telling me that I wasn't a fit for it. I don't know why. I've lost platinum because of the EV and it is hard to not be platinum and work when the car's ready. This one was on, okay. Oh. And I wanted the other one, the catering app. It's not delivered. I forgot what it was called, but I need to look into that. Skip cart. I mean, is skip cart typically good like that, Indy? And I'm trying to remember if it was skip cart. I mean, not skip cart, delivered, or the other delivery app. Was it deliver that? There's one more. There's another one. I forgot what it was called. Yeah, but I thought it was ridiculous when I ended up getting the email saying that after I took their test or whatever, that I wasn't a good fit for them. So, I don't know. All right, let me check the pastries that's in the freezer. Oh yeah, that's easier to handle now. All right, so we got the strawberry. Let's turn this down. No, just a customer that really... Oh, wow. I think Lunchbox is fairly new too, isn't it, Don? All right, so we got the strawberry. There's the strawberry. There's the bottom. So it's... I don't know where the microphone is. So it's not going to be crispy or crunchy, but even though, as you guys can see, some of the filling did seep out as it was baking, there's still filling in here. Sorry, let's break this in half. Look at that. So there's still filling, as in it's coated the inside. I don't know if you guys can tell that or not, but it does look slightly hollow. But enough of the filling coated the entire inside. And I guess that's what seeped out as it was baking, was the excess is what seeped out. But doesn't that still look good? All right, let's give this a try. I said this was the first time using, baby, you want to come try this? Strawberry pie filling for the strawberry, I added brown sugar and nutmeg to this one. Mmm. Mmm. Oh. That is good. Right there. There are times as I'm eating it that it almost gives me like I'm eating a jelly sandwich because you got the buttery flavor of the crust. We like it? Mmm. That is really good. That's really good. So I just have to figure out a way whether it be the pie filling or more of a jam that's a lot thicker. But the pie filling itself, when I opened it, was pretty thick. It's doing the baking process. It's the baking process that it starts to liquefy it, and that's why it seeps out. The excess seeps out. All right. So that was the strawberry. This is the one that's not so pretty because it's cracked up at the top. So let's break this open. Now look at that. Nice and full in there. You ready for another piece, babe? I put it in the freezer with the strawberry one, so some of the strawberries on it, but all right. I already know this one's going to be good because I've made this one before. You think the crack makes it look yummy? I should have taken a picture. I need to take a picture before I mess with any of the others. But the good thing about this, again, if you're going to try the recipe, you want to use the butter flavor. At least that's me personally. You want to use the butter flavor of the Crisco. This one right here, the Crisco shortening. I was trying to find that word. The Crisco shortening. I prefer the butter. But you want to, at least for me personally, that's what you want to use is the butter Crisco shortening whenever you're making this. But you can test out whatever flavor you feel like. But as you just saw from mine, you want to make sure, yes, you want to make sure whatever filling you decide to use, keep that in mind, that if there's a lot of, even if it's a thick gel that that you're using for the pie, for the filling, just keep in mind that during the cooking process, it's going to liquefy because it's going to heat up. You're baking it at 350 degrees. So for about 20 to 25 minutes, it also just depends on how many you're cooking at one time, that you could actually be cooking it for 25 minutes or more. Because again, you want to get, it doesn't have to be a dark color, but you want it to have some light golden or dark golden, preferred, to your liking, but you want it to have some color and before you take it out, because you want to make sure that the crust is cooked. You don't want to overcook it, but see, this is why we get along. You dash and I dash, you cook, and you try to cook. I try to cook. This is my motivation when I do my live streams. It can be my motivation to cook stuff that takes a while. My live stream has been going on for just over 2 hours now, and I finished baking maybe 10 minutes ago. So if you are going to try this recipe, you want to give about a 2-hour block to be able to do so, to make this. But just keep that in mind whenever you are gonna do a pie filling of your choice or filling of your choice. Doesn't just keep in mind that if there's liquid in there, even if it's thick, that as it's baking, it could still seep out, and that's fine, because as you guys can see, even if it seeps out during the baking process, as the strawberry did, I mean, they still look pretty. Look at that. They still look pretty, even though the strawberry one, this row right here is the strawberry. The back row closer to me is the apple. But look. So even though half of this seeped out, there's still enough filling in them that it coated the entire inside. So you're still getting the flavor. That's really good. I said I really like that buttery crust. But that's Pastit. Strawberry, apple. Typically the flavor is pumpkin, but you can try whatever flavor you feel like trying. But thank you guys so much for being here, for watching or listening, or just letting it play. Please let me know if you do try this recipe, to put in the comments and let me know what flavor you chose and how it came out. But until then, keep coming on back. Don't forget to smash that like button before you leave or before you're done watching. Thank you. Tomorrow night, I have another scheduled live stream. It's going to be another game night, so hopefully you guys will join for that one. Go to that link, hit the notification bell, so that way you'll know when it starts. And then next Tuesday, Tornado Garden is in the chat right now. Go to his page. If you're not already subscribed to him, make sure you hit that subs. And for everyone else that's here right now too, with Indy, because Indy does the same line of work as we do with gig work. Go ahead and check out their channels and hit that subscribe button so we can support each other. But Tornado and I are going to be doing a joint live stream next Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to be crafting. And I'll post the actual details of it here within the next day or two. But that's right. Good order vibes for everybody that's working today. Good luck. Let's make that money. But please stay safe. Stay hydrated. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Adios for now. Bye, everybody. Si Juas Maasi. Thank you. Bye.